What's up?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Good to hear. David, I think he's still dropping in. He is. Sorry, he just texted me. He's asking. He's like, "You still going to drop it in 4 minutes?" I'm like, "Man, I'm already in here." David is at a conference with the kind of a SaaS technology company mastermind we're in San Diego right now. So I'm filling in at least for right now.
Okay. Yeah, he just texted me too. Yeah, he's doing big things. What's going on with DealMachine, man?
Yeah, it feels like there's always a ton of stuff going on.
You guys always got something going on.
You've been around long enough. You've seen kind of a lot of the changes that have happened along the way.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, we met in Dallas at WeLive. Is that correct?
No, man, I didn't make it to WeLive.
Oh, was it around then that we spoke? That's when I had like in my head that you had started with us. Maybe
it was around then as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was around that time, but I didn't make it to WeLive, and I'm glad I didn't go because I got like 5 contracts.
You were working at taking action instead of just getting education. Not that like conferences are all bad, but you were doing the important stuff in the end.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we've, just a small amount of time that we've been a part of DealMachine, and, it seems like you guys are always staying on top of the latest and greatest, which is good. You have to, man. You've got to accommodate us.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is definitely we always want to continue to be the best in the space when it comes to like the scaling the driving for dollars process. Like that's really what I'm 100% committed to. I think there are a lot of kind of catch-all tools in the space that try to be a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and I think a lot of times those can be really useful. They're just really complex, and there's a lot of variables in place, and how you that isn't necessarily clear. And we're definitely committed to just really focusing on like what are all the diving super deep into how do you make the driving process more scalable, repeatable, and then just in the end, like better ROI from that efficiency.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm gonna give like a couple more people a little bit more time to jump in here since we said 7 is the official start time, and then kind of probably just start with like, I guess, given your background, like just as an investor, when you started, why you started. And then maybe we'll kind of dive into the DealMachine side a little bit more, but we'll give it a couple minutes.
Sounds good, man.
People to get in. If you guys hear a bark in the background, those are my 2 dogs.
Where are you at?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just sitting at home at the moment.
How's the weather out there?
We're just cooling down a little bit. I mean, I say cooling down. We were still like 75, 80 today. But the a little cloudy and gloomy out there. But yeah, we'll stay up in like the 70s on average. 70s on average for probably the next month or so, and then we'll kind of bottom out in like the 50s average. We'll get a little bit lower than that here and there. Like it'll snow a couple times, but that's it. Hey there, good evening, guys. Anthony, we just spoke today, man. I just saw your message. How you doing?
Oh, there's a chat. Okay.
You see the chat on your side, Philip?
Oh yeah, there we go. Nice.
Awesome. Cool. So once we hit 7:02 here, we're gonna I'm just gonna go ahead and say we can get rolling, get started. And you celebrate Halloween at all?
Do what?
You gonna celebrate Halloween at all?
Bro, you want to know how I'm gonna celebrate Halloween?
Yeah.
As soon as we're done here, I'm going to Home Depot and I'm buying materials for our flip.
That's awesome.
We got the kids with my sister-in-law, so they're doing their thing. But
okay, yeah,
time is money, bro.
I get it, man. I'm getting peer pressured a little bit. So we'll see.
Got kiddos?
No, I don't have any kiddos. I'm getting peer pressured for the bar scene.
Yeah, there you go.
So we'll see what happens. Downtown Raleigh might be in the offing for me tonight, but
Yeah.
He was like, "Who's gonna go to a webinar that you guys are doing on Halloween?" I'm like, "I promise you, there'll be people that will be there."
Oh yeah, for sure.
He was like,
Yeah.
"These people are like, we're committed. They're trying to make it happen."
Yeah.
Again, Anthony, great talking to you. Linda, if you can't hear anything, it doesn't help. Cool. Thanks, Trey. It's good to be back in RDU. I've been on the road for about 22 of the last 30 days.
You have?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been traveling like crazy, and it was funny. I got here and I was like, I'm gonna have the weekend to be here, and then I leave for Vegas on Wednesday or Thursday next week, and then I ended up booking a beach trip for tomorrow through Sunday morning. So I'll be out. I'm still traveling some more then, but it's all good. It'll be totally relaxing and not so much on the work front. Most of it.
Yeah. Anytime on the beach is nice.
Right. It's not too bad. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We've given everyone a few minutes here. I'm sure we'll have some stragglers. We are recording this, so this is going to go live on YouTube later. So if anyone misses anything, we will try to obviously keep track of the questions as they come in and all that good stuff. But for me, I like to start from kind of square one on this. Like, Philip, just give us your story about kind of how long you've been an investor, what spurred you, what was your why to start doing it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, man. Started my REI company February of this year. And the reason why we started, I just was tired of working for corporate America. I was a financial advisor for the past 5 or 6 years, and just decided to dive in, man. And I was like, all right, we're going to sink or swim. And I refused to sink. So,
right. You just kept paddling.
Yeah, I just kept paddling, man. Keep going. So, but yeah, that's basically. So we've been running and gunning, going on 9 months now, 8 or 9 months.
Awesome. And so in that time, I know you guys have had a lot of success with us in particular. Just from the overall like real estate business front, like kind of give us a perspective on your results, like what you've done that's worked, I guess, a little bit. We can dive a little bit into what's working for you really well. But also just kind of like if you can talk about like the deals that you've done and that kind of stuff would be interesting to go from there too.
Yeah, man. DealMachine has been a great resource for us, a good marketing platform. We, I'd say, 50% of our deals have come from DealMachine, and so I guess the most recent one would be we just closed on an 18-door package last week. That took about 45 days to get it done, but it was a big one. But we got it done, and that guy, he was a tired landlord, 82 years old. He got one of our postcards and called me back and says, "Hey, I received one of your nifty little postcards. Do you want to buy a house?" I said, "I'd love to buy your house. What do you think about our postcard?" And he says, "That was the neatest thing I've ever seen."
Awesome.
So he says, he goes, "Well, I've actually got 18 homes that I need to sell ASAP." So, make a long story short, we got it done.
What was your reaction? Was your job just like? Were you just like, okay, gotta get to work on it, or?
I think I screamed like a little girl.
I understand that.
Exciting, man. It was exciting, and so our team got to work, started running the comps on all the properties, walked every single property so that we can get assessed for costs and repairs and all that good stuff, and ran our numbers and started put them out to buyers. Got a ton of hits and got it done, man.
Awesome. That was actually going to be my next question. It sounds like wholesaling was the primary strategy for all those. Did you wholesale all of them? Do you keep any of them, or?
So man, if they were in my primary market where I live, we would have held on to them because they were already cash flowing $8K a month.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I think 2 or 3 of them were were not occupied. All the rest were occupied. So, and it was a good, these guys got a good deal, these cash buyers, but it's in a market that's about 2 hours north of us.
Mm-hmm.
So after, being on the fence for so long and going over all the different scenarios, how it would be beneficial for us to hold on to them, we finally decided just to wholesale them, to assign them, just because how far away they were from us.
I think it's wise too. I think a lot of times people kind of bite off more than they can chew. It's great when it come whenever, and that's one of the great things that wholesaling exists, is like you can take advantage, at least to some degree, of every opportunity that comes across your table. But definitely, like, being a property manager from a distance is to tackle when you're
for sure
on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know if we asked. You are, if I remember right, Lubbock, Texas.
I'm in Lubbock. Yeah.
Okay. Red Raiders.
That's where we're based out of.
Yeah. Awesome. And so where was that? Where were those properties that you ended up doing with?
Amarillo.
Okay. And so did you guys go to Amarillo, or what was that process like? Who actually had that property for you guys?
My wife and I, we drove, so probably about two months ago, we decided that we were going to tap into that market.
Okay.
And what we were doing every other weekend is my wife and I we were getting a hotel up there, and just basically taking 2 days to drive for dollars.
Okay.
And so we added that. I don't remember if it was her or I, but we were together. We added that, and then me and my dispositions manager, we did all the back and forth, negotiations, driving back and forth, talking on the phone. So they were older. They're 82 years old, so they weren't very tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't mind at all driving down there, building the rapport, making them comfortable. And yeah, man, it worked out.
That's awesome.
The girl just got here.
And so that sounds like probably by far like the biggest deal so far for you overall. And then have you done it? You said you were going to buy some materials. So are you doing some flips there in Lubbock and stuff like that then?
Yeah, we've got a flip house that we're doing here in Lubbock. Another one that we're going to start on next week. It's in a suburb of Lubbock, so just about 10, 15 minutes away. And then we just landed a home run in the Fort Worth area today. I just flew back from Lubbock. I just got back an hour ago.
Oh, wow.
From Dallas. Yeah. So just got that house, and we've been working on that one for 7 months, man. It was in probate.
Wow. Okay.
So that one we'll get started. I think we're going to close on that one in about a week or two, and then we'll start rehabbing it.
Start rehab. Awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick before we go on, I just want to say to all the people in here watching, if you've got conversation or just questions on what we're talking about, general questions about REI, anything like that. That's kind of really why we do these, is to have a kind of an open Q&A as well. So definitely happy to tell Philip's story and go over stuff that I think that we believe is really relevant for you guys, but want to make sure we're answering questions that you guys have. So feel free to throw them in, and I will get to them as we can and as we see them come up in the chat there.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing? Anthony.
So moving forward, I know one of the biggest things, I know, so you're an enterprise planning customer of ours. I know you guys, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of the driving yourselves right now. What has the process been like building a team at all, or recruiting people? What have you had success with? What have you haven't had success with? I'm just kind of curious about that.
We've earlier on, we did the whole like bird dog thing, and we put out ads, and we actually added a lot of drivers, not just in our town, but in other markets that we're, Fort Worth, Amarillo, Dallas. And what we're finding is, and this might be something, I don't know what we're doing wrong, but they would be gung-ho for about a week or two and then fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And so we finally came to terms with me and my team that what we're going to do is we have a standard to add a certain amount of deals every week per person. And then we have a push week. So the third week of every month, we ramp it up, and we really focus on adding properties to DealMachine. So yeah, and so once we get all of our leads by the end of the month, we've got a good amount of leads that we can start working outside of DealMachine, skip tracing, text blast, all of it.
I like both those things you just said. Is one is the consistency of everyone has a KPI on a weekly basis. You hit this number, top to bottom in the organization. It's really easy to track. Obviously, that in our analytics section. And then I also like, just from from having a sales background, I think push weeks are super effective, because I don't think anybody, maybe outside of like Gary freaking V, can operate at 100% at 100% of the time. Like you just can't do that.
It just becomes redundant, man, and you burn out.
And I've been there in multiple jobs in the past where I didn't realize I was burning out until too late. And so I really like push weeks where I'm just like, hey, like this is a week that like, look at this one. How old?
Say hi. A month.
Oh, geez. Very, very.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
Oh, you're good. What's the name?
Her name's Camilla.
Camilla is getting a lot of exposure real young here. She's going to be.
She buys houses.
Buys houses.
Call her daddy.
Let's say she buys houses. Use that.
Yeah, no. So the push week was really good because, like I mentioned earlier, I come from a sales background. Also, I was a financial consultant, and one thing that did help our productivity was that push week. Mm-hmm. That way, you kind of push all the other priorities a little bit to the side and really focus on filling that pipeline. Okay. That way it leads into the next month, and you've got all those leads to work, and you're replenishing your pipeline and new leads, new lead generation. And so that way you're not just constantly going over.
Right. Top of the funnel is always the thing that people forget about first. Once they get in the thick of it, they're working deals, closing deals.
Fresh.
Close them all out, and then you're like, wait, I've got nothing to do now. And now it's going to take another month and a half for me to reprospect and build up the whole list again. So again, I love it. There's the commitment on a consistent basis. We got a couple of questions that came in just now. Jillian Owens just asked to explain the Deal Finder concept in the program. I'll tackle that kind of briefly, and obviously Philip add to it. But basically, our Deal Finders are simply, it's a role within the organization similar to what you would think of a bird dog as. Someone that can have the application, they have their own login as a member of your team. And when they can go out driving, you can track where they've been. You can see what properties they're adding to you. They can't spend your money, so they can't go out and actually send mail, for instance, unless you turn on the ability for them to do it. But again, they can send you opportunities that they see in the field, so that you're, Philip's point, like you're working existing deals, you guys are making it happen day to day, but you're still getting other people to kind of fill the pipeline and build out the lead list. Anything you'd add to that, Philip, at all? And I don't know if you kind of view Deal Finders differently at all.
Oh, no. I mean, same thing.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty basic with that.
Nick, I'm glad you were asking about building with teams right now. I have my enterprise, and I would like to be able to track activity of the deal regardless of who is doing the deal. This system activity is great data within the app. My thought is to download that data into my external CRM reporting system. How are you looking at each property and the activity, including mailing? So I guess, how do you personally track it? And Nick, I know this is in development. I haven't updated you lately, but this is in development right now. How do you track, Philip, on your side, like the deals that are coming in? Like, how closely do you track how many times you're mailing them, when you've mailed them, who added it, and stuff like that?
So, man, we don't do multiple mailings.
Okay.
Just because we do other things that we use DealMachine as a primary platform, and then there's layers that we pull outside of DealMachine. Mm-hmm. So, and I'll get into that if we need to, but we use DealMachine as the initial, marketing tool, and we one mailer.
Cool.
Now we might switch that up. That's not, nothing set in stone, but that's what's kind of been working for us. Is we'll send one mailer, and then so it's obviously that's easy to track with the analytics inside within DealMachine. Mm-hmm. And so kind of to go a little bit past that, I love to hear about those layers. Here they come, Nick.
Let's hear about the layers.
So what we'll do is we will export our leads.
Sure.
We'll skip trace them. Once we get them back, we hit them. So we've already hit them with a postcard. We'll set up text blasts, and then we'll cold call. And then if need be, we'll knock on their door. So postcard, text blast, she's cute, cold call, and then knock on the door. So we'll hit them 4 different ways.
Okay. And the door knock is the last thing that you do?
Not necessarily, man. It just kind of depends. Huh? Yeah, it all depends, man. One of my guys one time, we got a cold call, and it was a lady that was interested in selling her house. So she was taking a while to reply. And so my guy was like, man, I feel good about it. Let's go knock on this door. So I went and knocked. And she ended up having 2 homes. And that was a pretty big wholesale deal for us. We got the two house package.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a great point too, is obviously DealMachine, I mean, we're a tool to organize the whole process, and we have that automated marketing component built into it. But the whole goal of everything we do is just to get you to the conversation point. Like, it's introducing the conversation. So if you're at a house and for some reason, like, you've got the time to go knock on a door, by all means, I recommend to people all the time, go do that right away. Before you mail. Obviously it's vacant. Someone might not be there, but occasionally you might come across someone that's living there, or a tenant. And the great part about talking to a tenant, they can say, hey, like, the landlord maybe have told them they want to sell or something like that. And then they can also tell you everything that's wrong with the property. So
right.
When you talk to the landlord, you can take those notes and you can say, hey, like, interested in buying. I know some properties in this area have these types of problems. Is yours similar? And all of a sudden you're kind of warming that lead that way by just collecting information.
Yeah. And man, I actually prefer, just because of my background, I would actually prefer talking to people face to face. And again, this also has to do with your market. You know, some people are in big metropolis cities where text blast might be better than a cold call. Text might be better than somebody knocking on your door. You know, I'm in my market. We're smaller. There's only about 300,000 people in my market, so it's still kind of have that small town feel to it. So people out here prefer shaking hands, you know, face to face, and that thing. So that's worked out for us as well.
Absolutely, I think that's a good point. And we definitely all the time. I mean, at this point we've got members of DealMachine in essentially every market, and people come to me and ask, like, hey, like, what should I expect? And we try to, like, give people good expectations with add 200 properties, mail them 3 times each.
Yeah,
that's what we see get a deal. And in Lubbock, transparently, I would assume that you guys were to do that just uniformly, you'd probably end up with more properties, more deals for that 200 output.
Yeah, I'd say between 150 and 200.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's where it's been.
Sure. And then if someone's doing this, like, let's say neighborhoods close to downtown Los Angeles, that's going to be a very different market and just different type of ROI. And so I like that you kind of brought up the market, because there's going to be variance market to market. It just really depends on your area. And so testing it out, I think the driving process can work in that, but the means by which you try to get in contact with that homeowner and start the conversation could change pretty dramatically depending on which market you're in for that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we get Annette Ferguson's question here. My husband and I have seen old abandoned or condemned properties while driving for dollars, but we cannot find the addresses for these properties, even on DealMachine. The addresses are not visible anywhere on the property, and there are no mailboxes on these properties. How can we find out who owns these properties without an address? Good question. Sometimes these properties are, again, without seeing the specific scenarios, hard to say exactly. Sometimes properties like these are actually had their lot lines redrawn, and they might not have active they might be part of someone else's address. It might be like multiple their lot. You also might try out a tool called LandGlide. They're kind of they're a great tool for what they are. The best way to call them like a watered down version of DealMachine. but they can oftentimes use them in cohort with DealMachine, see properties and to get an idea of some addresses that for some reason or another, if you're not able to click on it and actually pull up an address within DealMachine. And so I hope that answers your question. Any advice, Philip, from your perspective on like, have you come across houses that you're like just not able to figure out the address for, and what any tricks that you have to try to get that information?
Yeah, it does happen. And sometimes, we'll look up on the Central Appraisal District website and they'll be there. If they're not there, that means then they've been condemned or something. So, but that's really the only alternative that we've used is looking them up on the Appraisal District website.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sometimes you'll find them.
Right. And sometimes, Annette, what I would say too, going back to door knocking, obviously these are probably like you said, abandoned, condemned properties, and they might be in areas where there's not neighbors nearby. But something you might try is just going to the closest houses, knocking on those doors, or using DealMachine to put people down and figure out, hey, like, do you know about?
You'll be surprised what these neighbors will tell you, man.
Yeah, well, they've probably been complaining to their family members for years.
Yep.
So they know about it. They know the research. And so definitely that's just another way to go do it, to go track down some of those opportunities. Yeah, baby, in development. I just saw that comment there. Overall, what has been working the most for you, postcards or cold call? From Miguel? I'll let you take that, Philip.
I'd say postcards has been working more for us. Right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Postcards? Yeah. Well, yeah, because last time we ran our numbers, 50% of our deals have come from DealMachine. So,
okay.
Yeah, postcards.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Have you tested out our ballpoint handwritten letters yet?
Man, I haven't.
You need to give it a try.
What's the feedback on those?
Pretty slow. I super small sample size. I sent it to 100 of my leads while we were testing it. And I got from a lead list that I had mailed. I think I had mailed all these leads 5 times each, and hadn't got responses from them. And I got a 2% response rate when I sent these letters that time around. And so that was nice. It was over 200. So it was 4 calls that I got. And so, take that for you will. 200 is by no means a huge sample size. But I definitely think it really sticks out. It looks, from start to finish, it looks like a human took the time to do everything. It's machine address on the exterior. It's a human done stamp. The insert is just a white piece of paper with, again, a machine done ballpoint pen. And so
that's pretty dope.
They stick out. They look pretty cool. And if you have our Mailer Pro add-on, they're only $1.47. Which is pretty reasonable. Like that's actually aggressive competitive pricing a lot of times on getting those fully printed ones.
$1.47 a letter.
I would definitely give those a try. You do have to have our Mailer Pro add-on to speaking to anybody here to get that. We are dropping some price changes tomorrow and new packages and things like that. So look out for it. I'll probably get into that here in a little bit just to brush over it.
Yeah, cool. You said $1.47 per letter. Is that what you said?
Yes, but you have to have Mailer Pro.
Which is an upgrade from
Mailer Pro, is a $50 add-on to the existing plans, the plans that are dropping tomorrow. We have a professional middle plan that's coming out. It's $99. It's going to include 2 full access users, so essentially 2 admins. We really designed this one for like partners, so husband and wife team or partners that are just starting out, that both people need to be able to use DealMachine on their phones. That is cool. That's designed for, and then 2 deal finders. That will automatically include essentially what is our Mailer Pro add-on today, reducing the price of mail down to 49 cents each. Our new enterprise plan is $2.99 a month, so everyone's grandfathered in. I know some people on this list actually got that we're about to increase the price of enterprise to $2.99. So that's coming as well. It actually might be live on our current site.
Nice. Okay.
So if there is anyone here that wants to look at enterprise, today is the day to do it, because the price is up $100 tomorrow officially on that.
Oh, y'all better jump on that enterprise.
We've got a few enterprise users in here, so definitely Philip's been an enterprise customer for like since February, March timeframe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The ROI is ridiculous.
love it.
Yeah. I mean,
I've been
$200 a month.
right. One deal shatters the cost for a year.
And your assignment fee is $3,000, which is a pretty low assignment fee.
Right, which would be relatively low. One thing I want to get into before we move on, again, I know I've got questions in here. I will get to everything here in the list. I don't know if it was the property that you got those 18 deals off. Was that a corporate owned property?
It was, man.
So I speak to that a little bit, because I see all the time, like, people come to us and they say, hey, like, I'm only targeting absentee owners. I just try to delete every owner occupied and corporate owned deal. I see that all the time in groups and chats and everything. And speak to a little bit why, like, you probably disagree with that.
A lot of people go over, obviously, the absentee, and we even do owner occupied. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, absentee owners, those are great, and those are to target. Owner occupied, if it has to be in a certain condition for us to even send them a letter. But we've landed deals off of owner occupied, where the lady was like, you know what? I never thought of selling my house until I got this postcard, and we got it. We acquired it and moved it. So we just decided a couple months ago to start adding corporate owned properties for that specific reason. Tired landlords. Mm-hmm. Luck of the draw, man. We got a tired landlord that replied to a postcard, and we acquired 18 property wholesale deal from them.
And that's a great example too, because people who are LLCs, chances are they do own multiple properties. And so you might a lower percentage of the people are interested in doing transactions. We also could mention that they could be cash buyers, and there's a reason to reach out. Like, they could be a partner in some other kind as opposed to just a seller. But also, again, a lower percentage of them might actually say, hey, yeah, I'm interested in selling that property. But they might say, hey, I'm interested in selling 18 properties. And
that's right. In fact, Monday, same market, Amarillo, same scenario. A guy replied to our postcard, and we went and looked at all of his homes. And Monday, we are locking down an 8-property deal from a tired landlord. The guy used to live in Amarillo. He now lives in LA, back in LA with his family. And he doesn't want to sell individual. He wants to sell them all as a package. And we've talked numbers, and we're going to lock it down on Monday.
That's awesome. So what's your total deal count out right now?
40 plus.
40 plus. 40 plus since February.
Well, okay, so deals, properties, 40 plus. But deals would be 25 maybe? Because some of them we're multiple packages, so yeah.
40 still, I think the same idea goes. Like, that's still that many properties that you're helping move. Going to go back to these questions to make sure we don't miss out. Hi, how long did it take you to land your first deal? I'll answer this from my perspective. January of 2018 was when I formally joined DealMachine as a full-time team member. I didn't do any driving in January. I started driving in February. Repeated postcards 3 times each. My 167th property was a house. It was owner occupied. It was somewhat close to us. Was somewhat run down, just clearly not being taken care of. On the 3rd postcard, she called me. She had quit her job the day before, and she knew the house wasn't in condition to sell a traditional way, but she didn't want to pay another mortgage payment. So she reached out, got the deal locked up. So for me, it was about a month and a half to 2 months from when I started driving, and it was a good flip. Me and a partner tackled it. I didn't have the cash in hand to do the full cash purchase and everything, so I got a partner in. We split everything 50-50, and our overall profit was about $46,000.
46 profit, nice, man.
Yeah, it was a good little flip. From the day that we closed on it to the day that we relisted it was 42 days. And
man, that's a quick turnaround.
The full, like, we did new floors, new paint inside and out, a deck, a fence, a new roof, countertops. I mean, literally everything that you could do to reskin a house was essentially what we did.
Yeah.
It was a quick one, but it went really smoothly, unfortunately, and it was really profitable. So it was kind of cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll let you answer. What was your story on the first deal, start to deal?
I think the time frame is pretty similar. We're just, my wife and I were trying to figure out. It was about a month and a half, 2 months is when we got our first deal from DealMachine. My first deal, actually, I had multiple deals before I got my first deal from DealMachine. So I'm not sure if they're, since we're talking about DealMachine.
Both too. I mean, from whenever you started, what you did to get the first one, and then from DealMachine too.
So DealMachine, it took us about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and our goal was to add 200 properties in 30 days. As you know, so we did that, and then because of that, about I guess a month and a half, we got our first deal from DealMachine.
Okay.
But we got our first 3 deals from referrals when we started. In our first deal, we started February, the mid-month February, and by the end of the month, we got our first deal.
So I'm curious.
And then
so as a referral, how did people know to send you referrals? What were you doing? I've got a guess, but like, what were you doing to get people to send you referrals?
Facebook, man.
Yep.
Facebook, social media, Instagram. So what we do is we offer a $500 to $1,000 referral fee, and we just blasted it out there to everybody we knew, and Messenger, everything. Hey, this is who we are. This is what we're doing now. We buy houses. If you send us an address, when we close, we will pay you a $500 cash referral. In fact, I think the first 3 deals we've paid out $1,000 each per referral.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so that's it. I mean, it's just a great thing to bring up to people too. Is just talk. Make people want to help you, especially if you incentivize them. But people that want to help you and potentially help people they know that need to get out of the house that they have, make it easy. Make it easy for them to know how they can help by just letting them know consistently and repetitively what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you can help them or people that they, whatever scenario that they're in.
Man, we love referrals, and people love to make extra money, extra cash. Right. So for a while there, man, referrals were just flooding.
Right.
Man.
Along the referral front, I know we talked about Deal Finders a little bit earlier, and you said you kind of had a lot of success with the volume, but not necessarily the consistency. I'm curious, have you seen our new kind of training platform for Deal Finders?
I guess I haven't. No,
Literally, we haven't even really announced it yet. We released it about 2 weeks ago. I know Nick, I saw his on Facebook. But essentially, we took the training process off the table for you guys. So we've always had the landing page there, but now we've got like a welcome video saying, hey, here's why you're here. They sign up, you get their email and their phone number now. And then we've got about 8 videos that you can choose which ones you want to drop in, telling you how to use DealMachine, how to identify distressed properties, what opportunities you're looking for, how to keep track of them inside the app for you. And so our whole goal is by far the most common question we get. I think we had the conversation was, how do I recruit people? What do I tell them? What do I give to them so that they are good at what we're asking them to do? And so we built this whole training process.
We kind of
for them to go through.
are little ones that.
That's dope, man. So is that on YouTube or is that just through?
So yeah, so you're gonna go team collect deal finders, the same spot you have the URL before, and you'll see new information there. You'll see
Okay, cool.
More customization. All the text is editable now. You can say whatever you want. I've got custom videos built out of the box for every spot. You can replace them with your own, so you can have your own. Hey, like, welcome to my team. So glad you're here. And
oh, nice. Okay.
You can customize the whole experience to yourself. We did the heavy lifting, so it can be out of the box. But if you have 10 minutes to record a few videos, you can drop your own in too.
I like that.
So take a look at that. Obviously, I wanted to bring it up for everyone here too, because that's part of the reason that we're increasing the price on Enterprise is the release of that product.
Gotcha. Everyone
that signs up on Enterprise by the end of today, $199 moving forward, $299 moving forward tomorrow. Definitely feel free to ask questions, or you can message me personally after. You can find me at josh@dealmachine.com pretty easily. David, please call me. Miss Dee Dee Goalie, definitely, we'll take a look at that in our support chat. Not sure what's going on there.
As a baby would address the baby, take the baby trick-or-treating.
I'm glad, Nick, thank you for backing us up on Landglide there. Bulk skip tracing. Bulk skip tracing, definitely recommend using other people for the most part. Skip and bulk and dash skip trace are the two providers that I recommend typically. I've used both of them for to test them, and they both had good experiences with both. I also I know the two people that run them, and they're just good people. Max is behind REX Skip, and the people in Phoenix behind Batch Skip Trace are really good people. So definitely recommend there. Philip, who do you use when you're doing both bulk stuff?
Batch.
Batch. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. And they've got a pretty good conversion rate, man.
Yeah.
It's affordable.
That's what I found as well. And I tell people too, to your point, Nick, you're like, we're awesome for the one-off stuff. Like when you're like in front of a house and you're like, I need to talk to this person now. Like that's what we're designed for. We know we're not trying to compete with the people doing like 15 to 20 cent batch skip tracing. And so when you're doing what you're doing, Phil, building a big list consistently on a month-over-month basis, it's easy to be like the first of every month, pull down all the properties from the previous month, and then it becomes easy for you to get that bulk price.
Yeah, for sure.
Kyle asks, is it best to have a business address on the postcards that you send out? What do you guys do for a return address?
Yeah, business.
Business?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah. I backed it up. I think a business address or a PO box is more.
Or PO box, yeah.
Yeah, part of it too is honestly just a little bit of privacy protection for you guys. By definition, some of the people that we're mailing in this space may not be in stable mental spots, transitioning apparently, and they might not be there. And so it's a little bit of safety for you and your family to use a PO box and an address like that. Price month to month or year to year. Our enterprise plan is a 12-month commitment. You can pay it month to month if you prefer, but it is a 12-month commitment on the enterprise plan.
Yeah.
The plan is a basic and our professional plan that we're being released tomorrow. So the $49 and the $99 a month options are going to be month to month. So great question there. We do give on any of the plans though, if you prepay in advance, we give you 2 months free. So it's a 17% discount if you go ahead and prepay in advance.
Yeah, that's what we'll be doing next year.
What criteria do you use to qualify properties from deal finders that are on your team? So that's a great question from Gabe here. Philip, who is responsible? Actually, start that. Who's responsible on your team when you, at the end of the month or whenever you guys do it, to digest all the properties in DealMachine? Who's responsible for saying, here's what we're going to do with this property?
I am.
So
yeah.
when there's bound to be a decent number of properties in that you've never seen. You weren't the one that took the picture. So what's the process that you ask your deal finders to go through when sending you those leads? And then how do you evaluate to see if that's a lead that you want to actually market to?
So going back to what we used to have a lot of deal finders and they fizzled out. So we've really kind of switched up our efforts. We're a small team. It's me, my wife, and I have two. I got a disposition and an acquisitions manager. So we share the Driving for Dollars efforts. And these guys, we've really spent a good amount of time with them, train them on what we're looking for so they know exactly what we're doing. So they're not out there wasting their time and adding everybody's property out there. So they're pretty well-rounded when it comes to what kind of criteria we're looking for. Obviously, distressed properties, vacant properties. If it's an owner-occupied property, they can pull it up and they can see it. If it's owner-occupied, well, then it has to be pretty distressed.
Sure.
And again, if it's, I try to keep my guys just absentee and owner-occupied, and then my wife and I will market everything. So absentee, owner-occupied, as well as.
Okay, cool. That's cool. So you essentially have a sliding scale of, depending on owner type, you might have different criteria that you look at to make that work. Awesome. From Selwyn, how do you include out-of-state address in DealMachine? And once you add the first out-of-state address, how can you submit it and put in the next one? So I think you just mean how do you add a property in a DealMachine that's out of state? And so the main way you're going to do that is just on the map view at the top is a box that says select a location. Instead of clicking on the map, you just type into that text box whatever address you want. We kind of pre-populate options until we guess the one that you need, and you just select it, and we move the map to that area. You still click the blue plus sign to confirm it, and then at that point it's in. Yep, thanks. I should have done that myself.
Right there.
So that's the map view, and then that's just a text box. So you're just typing in the address there, and then you would just do that, repeat it over and over again for new addresses. I will say, obviously that's a cumbersome process. We know that. When you're doing that over, like if you get a list of properties from somewhere else and you've got a 50, right now you have to do one by one in DealMachine. We've got bulk upload and bulk import options being developed. We had to make a pretty sizable data purchase to allow us to open up that bulk feature. But we did it about a month ago, and now we're building around that to allow for it. And so I don't have a hard date on that yet. I would guess it's probably a late this year item, maybe early next year item. But that's obviously going to be powerful for a lot of our users. Khadija Goli, I love DealMachine and wish that you would lower your skip trace costs because your numbers are on point. Totally understand, man. And again, I do think at some point we will offer an option for that. I don't have a time limit by any means, but definitely understand wanting to reduce the prices there. As we mentioned earlier, exporting the data, REI skip, batch skip trace, two good options. REI skip, I think, just dropped all of their lookups to 15 cents. And so you can take a look at them. I forget batch skip trace's pricing model right now. But I'll honestly say I believe that they're probably accuracy-wise going to be right about the same range that we are too.
So if you don't mind, I'm just going to give everybody kind of a golden nugget here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
If you use batch skip trace, use TTP as your code, and it's like 70% off, and you can use it every time.
That's a good nugget. Brent Daniels, I'm sure, has negotiated that.
Yeah. And then, I get it where people are saying, I wish your skip tracing was cheaper or lower or whatever, more affordable. But guys, DealMachine is not a skip tracing platform. If you learn how to add your deals, export them, and then use a skip tracing company to do all that, batch skip tracing, which is very affordable, then you can, again, talking about the layers earlier, you're welcome for the code. You're welcome, Khadija and Jillian.
Jillian, skip tracing, if you use DealMachine, we call it our enhanced search. It's the same thing. It's simply trying to find more contact data, typically phone numbers for those homeowners. And so phone numbers, email addresses, additional mailing addresses, just other ways to contact them that might be associated with that owner. And so skip tracing is just typically you pay, like for us, for instance, the same cost as the whatever mail price is, your deal credit. You use one deal credit for each enhanced search. As we're talking about here, you can get them in like the 15 to 25 cent range, depending on volume on a lot of these other sites as well. Khadija, thank you for giving us the pronunciation there. I was struggling through it. But please call me Didi. Okay, gotcha, man. Gotcha. I see you also had a question, something about charging again. Reach out. I don't know what time you guys have reached out. We cover our chat support 9 to 5 Eastern every day. We should be expanding that to 8 to 8 Eastern somewhat soon. We're staffing up there. We've got 7 full time on that now. So I don't know the exact date, but we are opening it up to 8 to 8. So if you guys reach out after 5 p.m. Eastern time and you don't get a response back quickly, that's why. It's just simply it's currently unmanned after that time on a day-to-day basis.
Just the robots.
Just the robots after that. Occasionally, I'll get home and just be sitting at my computer at like 11 p.m. at night, and I'll just try to answer a few. So sometimes you might get a message from me really late at night, but that shouldn't be the norm. That's just when I happen to have a little time. Or Didi, yeah, definitely try again tomorrow. As long as you've got your message in our chat support there, they'll get to it and respond to you as soon as can. They'll basically wake up. It looks like AJ, actually, one of our customer support reps, is in here right now. So he'll be up tomorrow morning, jumping in there and there to answer that question as long as you've got it in there. So the more information you can give us there, the faster we are going to be able to help get that question answered and get you taken care of. Any other questions? We've been about 47 minutes right now. Probably going to stick around for 5-10 more minutes and let Philip get to Home Depot and get some of the shopping in for these flips. But yeah, any questions? TPP code apply for DealMachine at all price points. As of today, yes. I believe the answer is yes as well with the new pricing options that we're releasing tomorrow. I think we are still doing just the $10 off any plan that you choose. So it'll be $39.89 and then $289 with the new plans. To be honest, I need to double check that to confirm, but I believe that is the case. It's just $10 off any of the plan tiers on a monthly basis.
Nice. Okay. Hey, I got a question for you.
Let's hear it.
Any plans of maybe creating some new templates?
There's nothing actively in development right now. I would suspect that that becomes a project sometime in 2020 for us to open up more mailing options. We're talking to a few mail providers right now. It's honestly a challenge finding mail providers that can do one-offs the way that we do them, where they're dynamic content for each individual customer with dynamic photos and full color and stuff like that. There's really not that many vendors that can tackle the delivery of that. And so we've talked internally about building more stuff ourselves to support that. And we're also talking to a couple of providers. So definitely, I would think in sometime in the 2020 timeframe, we'll probably have more mail options. What mail options are you interested in us integrating? And if anyone in the chat has kind of things that they'd like to see as well, we'd love to know.
Well, just some different template options. I think there's 3 or 4 now.
There are 6 as of today.
Oh, okay.
They're all the same 4x6 cards with essentially just a little bit of a different design. So there are 6 to choose from, plus the ballpoint pen letter. So I guess that would give you 7 if you have the Mailer Pro option, or as of tomorrow, the professional or enterprise plans automatically include that.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Yeah. We occasionally people who want to do a custom card. Actually, a custom card I think is going to come relatively quickly here. We didn't release it for this new pricing that we're releasing tomorrow, but we're going to do the ability we'll work with you to build a custom card that you can then use in DealMachine. There'll be a hard cost on that process. You're literally going to get on the phone with one of our developers. We'll build the custom card until you're happy with it, and then give it to you inside a DealMachine to use. So that's something that actually will happen somewhat soon. Don't have an exact timeline. That's almost certainly this year, that type thing. Phil, Annette Ferguson wants to know, did you quit your job to start wholesaling, or what was that process like for you?
Yeah, I did. I sure did. Initially, our goal was to start our REI company full-time in July of this year. So let me kind of give you a backstory. December last year, I had a friend come over and we were talking. We're talking about real estate. Again, I was a financial advisor, and I've always been intrigued by real estate, but had no intentions to getting my real estate license at all. Didn't want to go through the licensing, process and all that stuff. But at the same time, last year, 2018, was a very trying year for us. I was 100% commission. Our income was roller coaster income. So it was very, very hard to get ahead, and just was tired. I was a top producer in my office, but I just never seemed to get anywhere because I was working my butt off for corporate America, getting everybody else, rich. And I was just tired of it. So my buddy told us about wholesaling. I studied Max Maxwell's videos for a good 6 weeks, woke up 5 a.m. every morning and an extra hour early and studied. I didn't go to any seminars. I didn't pay for any courses or anything like that. I just studied, went to YouTube University. So January, my wife and I agreed that we were going to start our REI company in July. Well, later, the last week of January, we found out we were pregnant. So we're like, okay, this is going to change the course of a lot of things. So we just prayed about it and total faith and that God was going to take care of us. And it's been,
yeah. I mean, and credit. I mean, you guys have done the hustle. That's what creates that results. Is like you guys getting after it, making it happen.
It's a grind, man. Whoever thinks that real estate is a walk in the park, I'm sorry. You've got a rude awakening.
The default for most people's marketing and like on the guru side is like, look at all the checks. And and that's like what people push. So that's just what people expect. It happens all the time. And it definitely, I think people don't realize the work that goes in. And I pretty routinely, I mean, I see the people that are successful, like even when things aren't going great, like when I talk to them, and I talk to 500 people a month about DealMachine, about real estate investing, whether that's at conferences or just one-on-one calls. And the people who are always successful, regardless of what's going on, they are never making excuses. I literally never hear an excuse out of a successful person's mouth, even when something goes wrong. They point the finger at themselves when something went wrong, or they like just take it and say, okay, it didn't work out, we're moving on to the next one. And so if there's something that I can give the people on that front is just never, if you find yourself letting you make excuses, whatever you think that excuse is, tell yourself you're making an excuse, which is building a roadblock that doesn't have to exist unless you choose to put it there.
Yeah. But when you work hard for yourself, it's not even work, man. Like I love what I do. I mean, from the time I wake up to the time I fall asleep, I'm working. I'm constantly talking to buyers, sellers, title companies, real estate agents. It's a grind, but it's so fulfilling because at the end of the night, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your family. You're doing it for your legacy. You're doing it for your empire. You're doing it for yourself. So when you work hard for yourself, it doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
If you got the passion to do this and grind, it's very fulfilling. It really is.
Yeah, finding that why, that matters.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true.
I'm not like a super, I would say in the past, I haven't been like a super like emotional person and bought into stuff like that. But I think when you really get down into it and like when you have long days and hard stuff that happens, you miss out on a deal that you thought was locked up, something like that. Like having a why matters. It really does. Yeah, it pulls you into the tougher times for sure. Chris, I just saw your comment here. I want to make sure I highlight it. I know a few people that own print companies, and like you said, one-off is a nightmare. We've spoken to probably 50 plus people, and there are 2 or 3 vendors that can tackle how we do mailers at the volume that we do them at. You mailed yourself. It took about 8 days to hit your inbox. 8 days for our postcards is probably it's probably a day or two above average. I would say 6, if I'm just pulling a number out, is probably roughly accurate. I could get the data that we get. The data that we get from our USPS people says it's like a 5.6 day delivery time frame on because we do a first class tracked all the way through, and so it's about roughly 5.6 is the average. However, I know factually that data is not always accurate. They'll tell us that it gets delivered one day, and I personally have seen it come 2 days later to my own inboxes. So I know it's never quite that perfect. So 8 is probably just give or take a day, roughly what you should expect on that front. I will say our ballpoint pen letters are a little bit faster. I get them about 4 days on average to my inbox when we do that. And that's what I see people. So those are also faster than the postcards that you send out as well, just because of the process that they go through. Dee Dee's asking you about your main strategy. So he says you're buying and holding, or are you solely wholesaling? And so I guess kind of expand upon that.
Because I heard you say that you are going to Home Depot for supplies. So I do real estate full time, 365. So our plan was to wholesale, to build capital, to start flipping. Use that capital for flipping to start holding. So we're at the flipping stage. So of course, wholesaling is great, quick money. Flipping takes a little bit longer, but your return is going to be double than your assignment fees, maybe triple. Yeah. So We wholesale and we flip.
Yep. To give an example, that flip that I talked about earlier, I probably could have wholesaled it for 12,000, 12, 15 grand, probably, pretty easily. Again, we ended up doing the flip and making 46 on it. To be entirely transparent, if I knew what I knew today, I would not have ever sold the property. We were at a point, I was at about 65% loan to value of cash all in the property. I could have refinanced the property, taken about 15 to 20 grand of cash out, totally tax free, and then been cash flowing about $700 to $800 a month on the property moving forward. So literally, I'll always look at that as like the worst deal I ever made. Even though we made 46 grand, I will literally look at it as the worst deal I ever made, because it could have been so much better for me long term.
Man. Hey, you live and learn, right?
You live and learn. I mean, and again, it's like, you shouldn't complain too much. Like, you made money on it, so it worked out. But like, man, like, and this is why, like, people talk about like educating yourself so much in this space. Like, that's a prime example why. Because even if you like educate yourself to a high degree on wholesaling, there are so many ways to work within the real estate space. Traditional buy and hold, the BRRRR strategy, which is really what I just mentioned, buying, renovating, rehabbing, refinancing, and renting it out. There are so many ways to make the space work. Subject twos. I'm not the expert in all of these by any means, but the more you educate yourself, the more you're gonna realize like there's a lot of ways to make money in this space. We had someone here, Alberto Diaz, a little bit south of me. He lives in Garner, North Carolina, really close to me actually. Found a house recently. He got a guy to owner finance for $5K down, $60,000 over like 10 years. He turned around, owner financed it at a total purchase price of $130 at 10% interest with 15 grand down. So he pocketed 10K of cash right away. He's not liable for any maintenance or repairs on the properties. And he essentially, I mean, he had 100 grand of equity and cash flow day one, like a significant cash flow day one on this property. And so analyze deals for what they can be, and don't get stuck in it. At the same time, it's going to feel like contradictory information. Don't get analysis by paralysis. I think I've been there too. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's get these last questions real quick here, and then we'll kind of round out as we wind out the hour. But you're at the mercy of contractors. Definitely, if you're flipping, you definitely want to know the contractor game. You want to know people you trust and everything. I guess if you speak to that maybe briefly, just how you vet contractors, how you work with them, stuff like that.
Man, my partner that we flip is a contractor.
Okay.
So I'm super comfortable with, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's got skin in the game. So I know that I don't have to worry about, and I know this is probably a rare occasion, but she brings up a valid point. Like, these contractors, man, are snakes. You know, you got to stay on top of them. And I know the flip game is a risky game, but that's the main reason why we're doing it, because, well, we're in the position to do it now. And then my partner is a contractor. So,
yeah,
he's a cash buyer too. So he knows the game.
Good point. They have skin in the game. Your motivations are aligned in that case. Like, you're both trying to get the best deal, like economically, for the flip as well as for whatever the transaction looks like in the end.
Yeah.
Do you ever double close when you wholesale?
We've never double closed, man. We built a really good relationship with our escrow agent, and he does a blind close. So he handles it, and it goes smooth every single time. We've never had to double close.
Awesome. Very cool.
We're not opposed to it if it comes up, but just never had to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it's like a new buyer, you had to close with someone else. I definitely know scenarios where I think it makes a lot of sense to do.
Yeah.
But definitely, there's no point in wasting the cash in a double close if you don't have to.
Right. And we've got a good relationship with our cash buyers as well. They know exactly what we're doing. That we always leave enough meat on the bone for our cash buyers. In fact, we don't have a huge list of cash buyers. We have a very small list, and they're multiple. They come back every single time because we know that we work with integrity, and we leave enough. Yeah, we're transparent. We leave enough meat on the bone for them to eat as well. So there's never any haggling or anything like that.
Awesome. So it looks like, yeah, just Chris broke down a deal that he did, and then the buyer is lease optioning it and cashing $18.90 flow a month. I don't know if that's gross or net, but still, it's an awesome deal.
Yeah, man. Good job, Chris.
Yeah, that's
Dope.
legit. But yeah, any parting thoughts, Phil? I think we'll wind down, close this out.
Yeah.
I think I just said Chris. Philip, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Again, use DealMachine as a platform, but don't just rely totally on DealMachine. I mean, these guys will tell you, Josh and David, that there's other things you can do. And I know we're getting over an hour here, but I'll go into this real quick. So another thing that I did that worked out for me early on was I went in DealMachine, and what I did is I made a list of all my absentee owners that live in the same city that I live in. And I made a list, and what I did is I went and knocked on doors, and we've got deals out of it, and we also got cash buyers out of it. So that's worked. And another thing is you can filter all your deals that you did an enhanced search on. So we won't do an enhanced search unless we're like, I want that house. Okay, so there's not a lot of them, but there's a few now that we've been doing it so long. So what we'll do is I've got that enhanced search list, and then we'll just tackle it in other ways outside of DealMachine. Skip tracing, letters. Hi. It was a ghost. It was Halloween.
I mean, a ghost.
But those are other ways that have helped us land deals. So there's some things you can do with DealMachine.
Anyone who's been on kickoff calls with me, because I deal directly with every single one of our enterprise customers. I know, like, I talk about like how to download the data, how to skip trace, who to skip trace with. If you want to mail through us, awesome. If you want to mail someone else, no problem. We make it easy for you to do all those things. Like, we're here to be whatever type of tool you need. If that's all in one from a marketing perspective, great. If that is just the driving component, awesome. Whatever works for you guys.
For sure.
I will say that training component, training your deal finders to find deals for you, is a pretty big launch. So I've got some material I'm going to be recording in the next couple of days on that. So keep an eye out, because I'm going to release some training on recruitment tactics, how to find people, how to use that training process that we've built, and then just how to manage them. So keep an eye out, everyone, for that as well.
Sweet, man.
Awesome. Well, I will let you go to Home Depot. It's calling. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks again to everyone who attended, asking questions. I think it was a pretty productive hour here. So appreciate everybody. Grateful that you're all here, and look forward to talking again soon.
Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye, guys.